Hello everybody and welcome back to more political chatter. In this video we will be talking about my first election prediction ever between Joe Biden and the mayor of Miami, Francis Suarez. So Mayor Suarez announced on June 14th, 3 days ago, well he filed 3 days ago, a more formal announcement was 2 days ago, that he would be running for president. As I said, he is the mayor of Miami, Florida. Not a huge position compared to other candidates in this race, like a former president, like a senator, just to go on Suarez's top and bottom. However, Mayor Suarez is definitely someone who has whose record has been looked at and admired by a lot of Republicans throughout the country. I mean, Miami is a thriving city right now. Everyone is moving to Miami, and Suarez talks about that. If Miami was a disastrous city, of course he would not be running. But Miami is doing great. So a lot of people have been encouraging Mayor Suarez to run for a while, and he is in the race. So how do I think he would do against Joe Biden in a general election matchup? Let's get started with this election prediction. We will start with our safe Democratic states. These states will be decided by a 15% margin or more. That will be California, Washington, Hawaii, D.C., Maryland, Delaware, Connecticut, New York, Connecticut, Rhode Island, Massachusetts, Vermont, and Maine's 1st District. That's going to be it. And for Mayor Suarez, that's going to be Utah, Wyoming, Idaho. A lot of states like Montana, like rural states, I feel that Suarez would kind of struggle in. North Dakota, South Dakota, Nebraska at large, Nebraska's 1st, Nebraska's 3rd. Oklahoma. He would probably carry Kansas by safe margin since there are a lot of moderate Republicans there. And South Carolina could be safe, but probably not. All right, that wraps up our safe states. That puts Joe Biden at 140 electoral votes, Francis Suarez at 109. Joe Biden has a 31 electoral vote advantage as of now. Now let's fill in our likely states. So these states, I believe, will be decided by a 5 to 15% margin, so a bit closer. So we have states like Oregon, Illinois, New Jersey, and Maine's 1st District, and Colorado. All states that are very Democratic, but some were likely in 2020, others were not. But I feel that Suarez would be able to pick up a few more votes than regular Republicans here. I mean, Colorado, a lot of young, more like adaptive, if you know what I mean, voters, like adaptive into this new changing time. And Francis Suarez, in terms of economy, he is very innovative. Whoops, I don't know why I said it like that. That's the word I'm looking for, innovative. So he could definitely connect with a lot of voters there. Continuing with Democratic likely states, I mean, there's New Mexico. Honestly, I don't see this one going, left or right in comparison to 2020. That, I don't know, whatever. Suarez wouldn't do very well in the Rust Belt. We have to be honest with that. I mean, he's going to run a lot of his campaign on winning back, young voters and expanding the GOP's base, when that doesn't really matter to these white working class men. They care about draining the swamp. They care about what Trump said in 2016. And Suarez, being younger for a politician, whatever, talking about the economy a lot, Bitcoin, stuff that a lot of white working class men don't care about and don't really understand, a lot of them, he would have a hard time winning those voters. So Minnesota, I think, is a likely Biden state. I think that Michigan is likely Biden, a big state for him. And I guess I'll leave it there. But I'm tempted to put Wisconsin as likely Biden. I really am. But I won't. Continuing with likely Biden states. Same with New Hampshire. A lot of more traditional old white voters. Suarez really won't appeal to a lot of these folks. And that's going to be it for likely Biden states. On to likely Suarez states. Montana, I mentioned a little bit. South Carolina. South Carolina could be safe. I mean, that will be very close to being safe. Very Republican states. Alaska, I guess, but he would underperform Trump there. So yeah, there's those that we don't really have to talk about. And then there's the ones we do. So Texas is a huge state, and I think that Francis Suarez wins it by a likely margin. Probably overperforms Trump here because there are tons of Latino voters here. Trump won a lot of them, but Suarez being a Latino himself, he will definitely be able to turn out these voters. What he's saying already is really, I feel, really trying to target those voters, and I think he would be pretty successful with it in a state like Texas. So Suarez saying that Trump won it by a likely margin, I feel that Suarez just overperforms Trump just a bit. Really being able to turn out Latino voters, and there are a lot of young voters in Texas, which is another main point of the Suarez campaign. And you all know it's coming Florida. I think that Florida is definitely a likely margin state for Suarez. I went to Trump by 3. Suarez being from Florida, being very well known throughout the state for his, good mayorship or whatever. He would definitely be able to carry Florida by a likely margin. No doubt in my mind. That's it. All right. That's it for likely states. We are on to lean states. So Joe Biden is at 227. Suarez narrowed it up. It's at 197 for Suarez. Suarez is 32 electoral votes down. 270 to win. All right, so now we are on to lean states. So these states, I believe, will be decided by a 1 to 5% margin. So very, very close. Starting with Biden. This is very tough. As I said, Wisconsin absolutely going to Biden by a lean margin, no doubt. The white working class men you need to win in the blue wall, Suarez is not getting. They won't be completely excited about Joe Biden, but at least he will be talking about jobs, job progress, job growth, and he will be able to turn out some of them. Suarez, especially, coming from Miami, Cuban American, trying to expand that GOP base, he just won't have it. Virginia, I think, narrows to a lean margin. Suarez does a bit better here than most states because, why? I don't really know why. There are just tons of anti-Trump voters here. Who are open to voting Republican. That's how Glenn Youngkin was able to win to distance himself from Trump. Suarez is absolutely distanced from Trump, so it'll win him a few extra votes, being more of a traditional Republican. Biden, let's see. Nebraska second. Suarez doesn't have much here. Went to Biden by 6.6. And the state of Pennsylvania, I think, goes to Biden, and Biden wins with 270. Pennsylvania, as I said, there are a lot of still rural voters in the western part of the state. It's not all suburbs. Suburbs, Suarez would, I guess, perform fine here. But that western part of the state, where Donald Trump was able to do well, they're not motivated to vote for Suarez. Just imagine these big Mastriano supporters voting for Francis Suarez. It's unimaginable. So Pennsylvania, I think, goes to Biden by a lean margin. Biden wins the election. On to lean Suarez states. There's a few. Nevada, definitely, if not likely. Arizona, definitely, if not likely. If not till. A lot of Latino voters over here. Like I said, a lot of moderate, independent voters that I really see Francis Suarez having an opportunity to win. Continuing with Lean Francis Suarez states, I mean, he probably hangs on in Maine second just because Trump made it so much more Republican. I'd give that to him by a lean margin. And then we have Ohio. And as, you know, of course, I've been talking about the Rust Belt so much now, Suarez will not do well. But like Maine's 2nd District, Trump made this state so partisan in favor of the Republicans. And there are so many more registered Republicans than there were when Obama left office. I mean, it's really extraordinary what he has done. And Suarez will be able to hang on because of that. But I don't, this will be a very underwhelming performance for Francis Suarez in Ohio. And I guess I would give Iowa to him by a point, but that will be a very close state. I mean, he is not doing what Trump did in 2016 and 2020. A lot of people won't, So then we have Georgia and North Carolina. I mean, honestly, Georgia's probably lean Biden, and I didn't do that before, but I will now. Because don't get me wrong, there are a lot of traditional conservatives in Georgia. If we're looking at the 2022 elections, Brian Kemp won by 7, Brad Raffensperger won by 8. Both traditional, more anti-Trump Republicans. Meanwhile, Herschel Walker, the Republican very aligned with Trump, lost by 2 in the Senate election. But Francis Suarez is not like some traditional conservative. A lot of Republicans view him as quote unquote woke. I think that's the first time I've ever said that on my channel. It's really annoying, in my opinion. But anyway, those rural Republicans who were voting for Brian Kemp and Brad Raffensperger in their primaries, they're just not going to turn out for Francis Suarez either. So I think that Biden wins Georgia. North Carolina's tough, but for the same reasons, I'll give it to Biden by a tilt margin. Only one tilt state in this election. So this is my final prediction. Not final, I guess, but as of right now, final. I have Joe Biden winning this election with 302 electoral votes to Francis Suarez's 236. So thank you all for watching this video. Make sure to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. That would help out a lot. I hope you all enjoyed, and I will see you all next time.